Good morning to you.
What are you going to talk to us about?
There is ancient Egypt, and there is very ancient Egypt, and there is very, very ancient Egypt. Today I'm going to talk about very, very, very ancient Egypt.
You mean prehistory?
Prehistory. When we say prehistory, we mean in our terms that we are talking about before the unification of Upper and Lower Egypt, before 3,300 or so BC. So we're talking
before
5,000, 6,000, if you like. Today we will say, how did this start? Did it actually happen that in an overnight you came up and you put 2.3 million blocks of stones in one building to achieve a pyramid? Of course, this is not logical. There must be some preparation, warming up to the civilization. And that was studied already some years ago.
How did we know first? I mean, this was not documented.
That was documented. I'm trying to tell you, the excavations happened.
Yeah.
And those cultures and those civilizations were studied thoroughly. And now we know that there was a civilization before the unification called the Maadi civilization. They call it Maadi culture. There is Wadi Hof culture. There is Wadi Garrawi. Wadi Garrawi has got one of the most ancient water dams in the world. That's before the unification, before the Scorpion King, Scorpion King, by the way, was before Na'armer as well. So there were kings in Egypt before the unification of Upper and Lower Egypt. But today, I'm not talking about even these. I'm talking about before these as well. The very, very, very ancient Egypt. We are talking about before humans, before anything happens dealing with a man meets a woman and form a society. We're talking today about Egyptian dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs.
Yep. And that comes as a surprise to many people. When we talk ancient Egypt, we never think of, did Egypt had its share of the activities of these amazing creatures, which are still till today being studied and still huge question marks. Dinosaurs, yes. The interesting thing is that not only that Egypt participated a great deal in dinosaur history, but it wrote history. It wrote new chapters in it, as usual. So even dinosaurs, we wrote new chapters. So what do I mean by new chapters? Things that people didn't know about dinosaurs, and when they excavated the dinosaur in Egypt, they knew new things. Let's take a good example. I got you some pictures today. And 1912. 1912 is an amazing year. 1912, many things happened in 1912, in Egypt and outside Egypt. 1912, Nefertiti's head was excavated in Tel el-Amara, one of the most exquisite masterpieces of ancient Egypt. 1912, Titanic sunk. And you say, and what's this got to do with Egypt? Well, in Titanic, there were 4 crates full with ancient Egyptian monuments being taken by Margaret Brown, heading to the United States.
On board Titanic?
Yes, still there.
Were they rescued?
No, still there in Titanic, the bottom of the ocean, those crates. And my new Egyptian Oshapti campaign is a campaign that's asking James Cameron to give us the pictures of such crates inside Titanic till today. That's 1912. But also 1912, of today's topic, was an amazing year for the Egyptian dinosaur. An excavation which was made by a German man, a German scientist. His name is Stromer. Stromer found in Bahariya oasis. See how amazing is this? How are we not using this in tourism? How are we not using this as to attract new ideas of tourism, right? Egyptian dinosaur tourism. Anyway, so Stromer found a great part of skeleton dealing with a new dinosaur. If you take a look at the picture that we are going to bring now, you will find that it was a dinosaur not known to anybody in the world. Nobody knew about this dinosaur, this guy. Nobody knew. Nobody knew that there was no name for it. So they decided to call it, if we can take a look at the other picture. So they decided to give it a name. Look how it's got fins. The huge fins, got spines. High spines which can go over 2 meters high at the back. So they decided to call it Spinosaurus. Saurus is a word that means lizard. So you got, for example, if you are watching movies, you will know T-Rex. the famous one, the huge big one, always eats the people and eat other dinosaurs. Well, T-Rex was thought to be the greatest, biggest, most massive dinosaur ever lived. Well, what is T stands for? T-Rex.
T-Rex.
T-Rex. What's T stands for? T is Tyrannosaurus, coming from tyranny. Tyrannosaurus Rex.
That is also anatomy?
That Tyrannosaurus Rex. All right?
That's an anatomy for
and that is actually a design which was drawn by the scientists to show you the head of Spinosaurus, the Egyptian dinosaur. And if you look very carefully, you will notice that the nasal opening, the two nostrils of this amazing dinosaur, was actually right here on that crocodile-looking head, like conical but huge. Gigantic head but narrow, right? Like a crocodile. Not a crocodile, but like a crocodile. So they found that the nostrils were a little bit higher than other dinosaurs, which means that this dinosaur used to swim. And that's why the nostril openings are right here, so that the water doesn't catch it. Now, here's an interesting thing. There were no dinosaurs that can swim. People didn't know about that. Scientists didn't excavate any proof that will say that dinosaurs can swim or could swim. Until Egypt did that. Until Egypt, the excavation of that particular
I'm sorry for
dinosaur.
the interruption, sir. Now we are going to watch live from the presidential palace of Al-Ittihadiyya, the swearing-in of the new cabinet, head by Sharif Ismail, Minister of Oil in the outgoing cabinet of Prime Minister Ibrahim Mahlab, who is now on his way to swear in before the head of a state, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, as the new Prime Minister. This is Sharif Ismail, Engineer Sharif Ismail.